If you're thinking about or preparing to move to Utah, this is the one video that you need to watch. Utah is a unique place to live. And if I'm being completely honest, Utah's just weird. If you're coming from another state, you might feel like you're in a different country. So today, I'm sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly of living in Utah. And I'm not gonna hold anything back. Before we get going, I know that some of you will disagree with me on a few of these points. For instance, if you're a liberal, you need to understand that Utah is extremely conservative. Liberals are not welcome here. So you might want to find a different place to live. Kidding, not kidding. I mean, I did say I wasn't going to hold anything back. The divide between conservatives and liberals is wide and it's ugly. I'll dig deeper into this later, but let's start out on a positive note. Or is it too late for that? Anywho, most people think Utah is an amazing place. Here's a list of the good things happening here in Utah. Number 1, the great outdoors. Utah's 43 state parks and 5 national parks offer some of the most extraordinary and unique landscapes on Earth. It's an enormous playground for outdoor enthusiasts with too many activities to name. But here's a few: hiking, biking, fishing, hunting, camping, boating, off-roading, rock climbing, canyoneering, horseback riding, snowboarding, skiing, even stargazing and sightseeing. Utah's home to majestic mountains, towering waterfalls, clear, clean lakes, and some pretty incredible wildlife. We also have countless well-maintained community parks with playgrounds, jogging trails, sports courts, pavilions, green space, and more. Honestly, it's really hard to get bored in Utah. If you can't find something fun to do, you're simply not trying. When I have free time, I love to explore Utah. We've created some of the most wonderful memories traveling around the state. Look for the links to my most memorable adventures in the description below. Number 2, the greatest snow on Earth. Utah's famous for the white stuff. People travel from all over the world to enjoy our abundance of winter activities. Not to mention, Salt Lake City is one of the most accessible ski destinations in the world with 14 ski resorts within a short drive of downtown. So you can be in the mountains recreating in less than an hour. Number 3, it's a great place to raise a family. Most areas in Utah offer a safe environment for children. Many who move here are surprised to see bicycles, skateboards, and etc. just lying around. And they're shocked to see young children, unsupervised, walking around without a care in the world. Utah also has an abundance of businesses, events, and activities that cater to families. At the lagoon, you can enjoy roller coasters and an awesome water park. There are multiple water parks and community centers. We also have dozens of indoor playgrounds for year-round fun. You'll find trampoline parks, rock climbing, bowling, arcades, bounce houses, indoor swimming pools, and more. This includes one of my favorite places, the Ninja Playground. Number 4, low use of drugs and alcohol. When it comes to smoking, drinking, or drugs, most Utahns just say no. In a recent report by Wilde, Utah had the second lowest drug use in the nation. We came in 50th out of 51 US territories. Utah is the 4th fewest for percentage of adult drug users, and the percentage of teen users is the second lowest in the nation. Number 5, low crime rates. Historically, Utah has been one of the safer states, especially for violent crimes. World Population View recently ranked Utah as the 4th safest state, and US News gave Utah a number 12 ranking. When looking at the crime rates in Utah per 1,000 people, violent crime is 2.8, while property crime is 19.7. Both are below the national average. Number 6, amazing people. Most Utahns are kind, loving individuals who genuinely care and look out for one another. It's well documented that Utahns are among the most generous in the country with both their time and money. When you move here, don't be surprised if strangers, aka your new neighbors, show up to help you unload your moving van. And there's a very good chance one of your neighbors will drop by with a homemade treat to introduce themselves and to get to know you better. In times of tragedy, neighbors will gather to show their love and support for those in need. The sense of community in Utah is second to none. Number 7, it's the land of opportunity. If you're seeking employment, this is the place. Desert News reported Salt Lake City leads the nation in hottest job markets. Unemployment is a full percent lower than the national average, and the job growth rate also exceeds the US average. The article said, the Utah legislature announced that Utah ranked first for the 17th year in a row as a state with the best economic outlook. A Utah first mindset enables businesses and individuals to continue flocking to our state to benefit from the financial freedom lower taxes provide and enjoy the high quality life our state policies have helped cultivate. The US News bolstered these claims, naming Utah as the best state in America for the 2nd year in a row. Utah's highest rankings were in fiscal stability, infrastructure, education, and economy. I'm not sure if you caught it, but these excellent opportunities extend to the children as well. Utah scored a top spot for the 2nd best state for education. Number 8, a government for the people. Our elected officials have always tried to keep the power in the hands of the citizens. There's a real attempt to keep taxes low, and we have one of the most fiscally responsible governments in the country. All right, many of you will disagree with the last 2 items on this list. that's totally fine. Honestly, I would love to hear your thoughts below, but please be respectful. Okay, moving on. Number 9, Utah is very religious. Yes, there's a lot of Mormons, aka members of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It seems like there's a church on every corner. But one of the biggest misconceptions is that everyone in Utah is Mormon. A recent study found that Latter-day Saints make up 40% of Utah's population. It was recently determined that Utah is the #1 state with 76.1% of the residents adhering to a religion. But the most controversial, number 10, guns. Utahns love their firearms. A new poll shows about half of Utah adults have a firearm in their house. A lot of us own guns for personal protection, while many others enjoy hunting. In Utah, it's legal to carry a firearm in public, and a large percentage of Utahns have a concealed weapons permit. If you're not comfortable around guns, research crime rates and gun-related deaths in Utah. That should give you some comfort. Okay, here's the bad when it comes to living in Utah. Number 1, drivers suck. Utah is notorious for bad drivers, so plan to be annoyed even on the shortest of drives. And it's not that everyone speeds or that they're reckless. A lot of people drive like they have nowhere to go and all day to get there. Then when you're trying to change lanes, drivers are more likely to speed up instead of letting you in. And car accidents regularly increase your drive time. So you always have to leave early to make sure you're not late. And bad weather almost guarantees there'll be an accident or 2, or maybe 3. Plan on being patient and annoyed with the shenanigans on the Utah roadways. And don't be surprised to get the middle finger if you accidentally cut someone off. All this only exasperates the next problem. Number 2, bad traffic. The state can't lay asphalt fast enough to keep up with our growing population. When combined with Utah's harsh winter weather, the roadways are constantly under construction. The drive to and from Salt Lake City can be slow and frustrating, but most roadways are backed up for any journey, especially during the morning and evening commutes. Number 3, lack of professional sports. Personally, I would love to have an NFL team here in Utah, and we are still without Major League Baseball. Though if rumors are true, we should have an MLB team soon. Thankfully, Utah has professional basketball and soccer. And much thanks to Ryan Smith, Utah just added its first NHL team. So we're making progress. Number 4, the weather sucks. Utah's a high desert, so it's frigid in the winter and smoking hot in the summer, reaching 100 degrees. To be blunt, Utah's weather is bipolar. We often have warm spring days in the middle of winter, and one summer was so slow to come that the ski resorts were still open on the 4th of July. It's risky to plan outdoor activities, and you should always be prepared for sudden changes in the weather. Now, just real quick, if finding this helpful, please give me a thumbs up. For real estate tips and trends, please subscribe and ring the bell. This allows me to keep making videos to help awesome people like you. Thanks. Okay, number 5, you might feel trapped. The 4 seasons are great, but for many who come here from warmer climates, the winters can be long and cold. Some people go stir crazy, feeling trapped inside their tiny apartments or homes. Number 6, there are too many dang kids. Utah's birth rate is among the highest in the country, so pretty much wherever you go, kids will be running around, often laughing and screaming. A nice walk in the park or a trip to the mountains can be disappointing, especially if you're hoping for some peace and serenity. Kids can cause a spike in volume at gatherings, restaurants, the movies, and, well, pretty much anywhere you go. I love kids, but it can be frustrating. Number 7, culture shock. It's different here. For one, Utahns get married young. You might be surprised to see couples still in their 20s with 3, 4, and sometimes even 5 kids. Also, Utahns generally don't cuss or smoke, and it can feel like a ghost town on Sunday as most members of the LDS faith strive to keep the Sabbath day holy. Your favorite store or restaurant may also be closed on Sundays. Okay, now moving on to more debatable points. Most Utahns would consider the lack of or the absence of these next items to be a good thing, but I know many of you will disagree. You might shed a tear in your beer to learn that drinking and smoking is not condoned. Most Utahns don't like it. Will you be judged?
Oh, yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Utah has some of the strongest liquor laws in the country. Beer and wine is often absent at parties or gatherings. If you like to drink or smoke, take comfort in the fact that at least 3 other people in Utah enjoy these same activities. And this leads to number 9, no nightlife. There is a noticeable lack of nightclubs and bars. Many of those who like to party find Utah unbearable. If this is you, be prepared to be bored out of your friggin' mind. Just ask Charles Barkley and Shaq, who came to Utah for the NBA All-Star game. Shaq chose to just stay in his hotel room. And Barkley said, ain't nothing to do in this boring city. Can't smoke, can't drink, these people are going to heaven. Okay, now on to the ugly side of Utah. Number 1, declining affordability. Utah's gone from an inexpensive place to live to a place that's barely affordable today. You can't even buy a townhome for what you could have bought a house for just a few years ago. Sadly, affordability will continue to be a problem. Why? Well, for one, Utah's suffering from a housing shortage. And 2, Utah has a high move-in rate. A lot of jobs are created by our amazing economy. This attracts people from all over the world, and no one's leaving. Third, house prices are increasing faster than the average salary. These high mortgage rates only make matters worse. Number 2, lack of diversity. As far as ethnic diversity is concerned, a new report shows the breakdown of the different races here in Utah. Fortunately, we have seen an increase of other cultures moving to the state. When it comes to religion, the LDS faith is dominant. Utah placed nearly dead last when it comes to being religiously diverse. This of course leads to one of the largest complaints, that there's no separation between church and state. No doubt, the conservative nature of the Latter-day Saints has a significant impact on the laws and the way of life in the Beehive State. And this brings me to one of my least favorite subjects of all time, number 3, politics. When I said liberals are not welcome here, I was preparing you for how you might feel when sharing your views with coworkers and neighbors. Like most Utahns, I'm not too concerned with your political affiliation as long as you're respectful. I've helped several incredible individuals move to Utah who have completely different views and standards. If you are on the far left, it will likely be extremely difficult for you to adjust to life in Utah. I'm not trying to dissuade you, it's simply the truth. If you're curious, recent voter registration data shows Democrats to be only about 1/4 of the Republican Party. Okay, moving on. Thankfully. Number 4, poor air quality. With so much open space, you'd think Utah's air would be so fresh and so clean. Unfortunately, we have the 5th worst air quality in the nation. The culprit is inversion. Poisonous air gets trapped between the mountains, filling the valley with smog. It can be horrible in the winter, and it's something to be concerned with if you have respiratory problems. Fortunately, there are other great places to live not far from the valley where the air quality is much better. To increase your knowledge of the area, you'll want to watch best and worst locations to move to in the Salt Lake area. If you'd like to build a house, watch Utah's Best Builders in 2024. Look for the links to my recommended videos below. If you're looking to buy, sell, build a home, or invest in Utah real estate, I get contacted all the time. Please feel free to call or text me with your questions. I'd love to meet you, and I'm honored to serve you. For everyone else, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments section below. If you have a friend or a family member looking to buy a house here in Utah, you can easily text this video to them. And please, don't forget to hit the subscribe button below and ring the bell to be notified each time I post new videos. Also, you can find me on Instagram at Ty the Real Estate Guy. If you found this information helpful, please give me a thumbs up. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to ring that little bell below. It'll make you feel good.